Land of Waves is the best opening arc across all of anime and manga. That sounds like a bold claim to make, maybe utterly outrageous. How could you ever say that? Naruto's mid, Naruto's trash, shut up. I can admit Naruto is not a perfect series, but the early stages, especially Land of Waves, is genuinely written so well. This short opening arc does so much for the rest of the series in terms of its setup for future arcs. It does remarkably well in setting up Naruto's character, his ideals and philosophies that will affect other characters, one of many core themes of the show, loneliness, the types of conflicts and enemies he will have to face, and his eternally lasting rivalry and friendship with Sasuke. But that isn't the focus today. These are the key highlights for me that make me deem it above other opening arcs. One Piece, Hana Hana, Mid Hero Academia, D Mid Slayer, nothing does it like Naruto when it comes to having a strong start. Not to mention that the fights are pretty cool too. To me, the fights aren't even the highlights of the arc, but I'm not complaining about them at all. They were still amazing as fuck. The first encounter of Zabuza and Naruto and Sasuke have to clutch up to save Kakashi or else they're cooked. Shit was so tough the first time I saw that demon wind shuriken transformation bait. Then the next encounter, but this time, the Anbu that was secretly Haku who works under Zabuza pulls up on the bridge and gives Naruto and Sasuke a nightmare of an ass whooping. Like, damn, okay, this is sick as hell. And this early on, these fights only work as well because the enemies are these two characters, Zabuza and Haku. Aside from wanting to become Hokage, after battling with Zabuza and Haku is when we really see the first signs of what will be a recurring theme throughout the whole series. Haku is the boy who Naruto first met after waking up in the forest where he'd been training all night. Haku asks why he's training. Naruto replies he wants to get stronger. But why? He already looks strong enough. Naruto persists he has to get much stronger. Therefore, he can become Hokage and everyone will acknowledge his strength. Haku questions him if it's for the sake of somebody else or himself. Does he have someone precious in his life? Because when a person has something precious they want to protect, that's when they can truly become strong. Naruto knows that all too well, remembering Kakashi's words, saying he won't allow his comrades to get killed, and Iruka's protection of him from Mizuki. In this moment, Haku can recognize that Naruto is a good person, someone that may very well align adequately with his own beliefs. This is evidently made apparent during their fight, as after Haku dies, Zabuza reveals that Haku was hurting inside having to fight those two. He was too kind, and it shows when Sasuke turns out to actually be alive. Haku never had any intention of killing the two. After seeing the type of person Naruto was, and seeing the friend or precious someone he wants to protect, he knew he didn't actually want to harm them. Putting on a front and only wounding them to a point of unconsciousness, there was never an intent to end their lives. In their fight when Sasuke supposedly dies, protecting Naruto who was passed out, the words Haku spoke become very real. In the case of Sasuke protecting Naruto, he unlocked his Sharingan. Naruto, who had his best friend, supposedly die for him, brought out the power of the Nine Tails within him, making him even stronger than Haku, who was 1v2ing them with ease. Sasuke was someone precious he wanted to protect, so it made Naruto stronger and enraged when he thought he couldn't. These feelings are all too real. I think it's applicable to our real world. The desire to be stronger for the sake of someone else, to protect or be of use to that person, because the feeling of being useful makes our lives feel valued. Someone else wanting or needing us for something, anything, that fills the void that is our loneliness. Zabuza is the person that makes Haku feel this way. He is someone special Haku wants to protect, especially because Zabuza filled his void after his life tragedies, as once upon a time he had other people that were special to him, but because of his Keki Genkai, a special power passed on through certain clans, hated and feared by people due to war, one of his special people, his father, tried to kill him after having murdered his mother, his other precious person, for the same reason. Haku only ended up surviving having to kill his own father due to those powers activating. That's when he realized the most painful thing in this world, that his life, his existence, mattered to no one. The same shared pain Naruto knows all too well. So when Naruto is questioned if he knows how it feels not to be needed by anyone, sadly, he indeed does. If someone came along and accepted you for who you are, no one could be more important than that person. Even though he came from a clan possessing a power everyone hated, Zabuza wanted it, needed it when no one else would. Haku in a flashback says he has the same eyes as Zabuza. At this moment, I think he's meaning they're both as lonely as each other. No one in this world needs them, and that's where they find solace within each other. They will fulfill each other's roles of being needed by someone to fill the loneliness inside. Haku is willing to give everything, his power, his life, anything, because Zabuza makes his existence feel like it mattered to someone. Even if that someone can be deemed or looked at as a horrible human being, to Haku, he's the most precious person in the world. He was so happy to finally feel that again. He is Zabuza's weapon. The part being someone's something is enough for him. So even if it's only as a mere tool, he'll give all his being to make that person's dream come true. Their dream is his dream. Can we really blame Haku for feeling this way or call it wrong? To me, it seems believable and comprehensible his outlook became this way. All it took was one person to give his worthless existence meaning. It is only through the eyes of others that our lives have any meaning. I've held onto this quote for many years. It's something that was said so early in the series that never left my mind, and I felt like it held a substantial amount of truth. It is others that give our being something to live for. We are creatures who crave connection, acknowledgement, or affection from others. That is how we are made. Our life value or worth is affirmed by other people's existences. Because what is there to our life with no one in it? A human heart can only bear so much loneliness before being driven into a state of melancholy or insanity. What joy would there be without someone with you to share it with? And not only joy, but the hard times we go through. Those times are only alleviated by the presence of others being there for you, together with you. Doing it side by side is what makes enduring as easy as it can get. Therefore, I do not believe Haku's outlook is preposterous or far-fetched. Zabuza made Haku feel desired, so even if not for the right or ideal reasons, it was sufficient for Haku to carry on wanting to live. Some real-life examples I can think of are situations like your quote-unquote friends are only around you for their own benefit or gain. Though you know this, or can feel a sense of it, you stay around them because it's better than the pain of loneliness. The isolation and hurt of perhaps being better off but having no one is outweighed by this feeling. Or maybe a toxic and abusive relationship where the abused partner stays. It may be because though they know that abusive person is not good for them, likely using them even, they choose to stay. As better without them as they would be, they fear the feeling of loneliness without them to a greater extent. Added on top of the fact that the abuser makes them feel wanted, needed, desired, despite the fact that it may be just as a disposable tool. When Haku's beaten by Naruto, it feels like his life has ended. Zabuza doesn't need a weak shinobi, so his existence is no longer of value. He wasn't a good enough tool that Zabuza was looking for. How fucking disheartening is that, man? I remember watching this for the first time, I was bawling my eyes out. Haku even asked Naruto to end his life, knowing he no longer had any purpose or reason for living. What's the point in feeling that same pain of loneliness again? Just put an end to suffering because death is better than this hell. But in his final hour, even when he's already lost his worth for existence, he ends up sacrificing his life for Zabuza, dying a useful tool to the very end. Naruto and Haku are very much alike, except that Naruto was blessed enough to eventually come across people who filled his loneliness in a less miserable way. He had Iruka, who accepted him for just being him. His recent squad members of Team 7 and Sensei. They make him feel wanted and needed, without that depressing notion of being just a tool to someone, something to be used. Perhaps, under different circumstances, they could have bonded and became friends. Naruto does that with most of his upcoming enemies too. The most glaring example is Gaara, the shinobi he didn't know fuck all about but had shared pain that bonded them. So it's very likely, if this wasn't the situation they met in, they could have been friends, not foe. We've been given Haku's perspective on how things are, but what about from Zabuza himself? The demon of the mist affirms everything Haku said. Bro even nearly sliced his dead body while simultaneously trying to slice Kakashi. He doesn't even do anything when Gato Naruto kicks Haku's dead corpse. Haku was just a tool like himself, right? You'd think so, until Naruto performs talk-no-jutsu for the first time in the series, infuriated with how Zabuza thinks of Haku, especially when it's contrasted with Haku's nothing but fondness for him. Does Haku's care and adoration, his unquestionable devotion to his precious person, mean nothing to them? Shinobi are meant to be tools, yes, and Haku had an arduous time to completely become one, knowing he can feel emotions, like compassion. Regardless, he tried his best in order to be something of use for his someone, even if it was strenuously difficult. Does someone as strong as Zabuza have to turn out the way he did? This heartless demon with nothing inside him but a desire to live rich and kill whoever if it's a job. To die as a tool, it's simply just too painful. Finally, Naruto's words get to him. He wasn't just a killing machine, a tool and product of the shinobi world. The demon of the mist, deep inside, was a human being too. He can't put up the facade any longer. Hidden in the depths, perhaps lost inside his heart long ago, was a person, and a person that felt for someone else. That someone else was dear to him like he was to them. It is perhaps impossible for ninja to fully become emotionless tools that are dispensable throwaways. Naruto wins this fight, and Zabuza did not let Gato slide with that heinous behavior. In the end, Zabuza is carried by Kakashi to see Haku's face one last time before death's doorstep, wanting to be by his side till the very end, and desiring to go to the same place he went to. It's snowing as all this is happening, dying in the snow like the place he came from, a village that snowed all the time. Haku was a boy that was pure as snow, only living the way he did due to the circumstances of events in his life and the shinobi world that's yet to change. After these events, Naruto announces he will find his own ninja way, a way that will change the world of shinobi forever. He will tear down the worldwide accepted belief that shinobi are just weapons of war, tools that aren't able to feel. Haku and Zabuza were his first test. Ninja from elsewhere, he managed to get through to, setting up what to expect on how he will win fights moving forward. Not through the clashing of swords or jutsu, but with words that connect one another. To battle the deadliest foe in their world, the loneliness that spread from this common notion. Because it is through words and communication, connection and bond can be found. He's tackling this worldwide problem as his enemy, but unless he changes these ideas, he wouldn't consider himself a shinobi worthy of becoming Hokage. The strength to see others within, that kindness is the real strength he'll need in order to achieve his dream. These ideals he battles with moving forward dictate whether he'll win or lose a fight. To understand the opponent first, and not just mindlessly try to hurt them, will be his way of winning. Through his words, not his fists. Fast forward to the future, it's how he truly wins against Gaara, and how he ends up losing to Sasuke. The shared pain, shared loneliness with Gaara, someone who he doesn't even really know, is the common ground that allows him to win, changing Gaara from within. To let Gaara know there's someone out there in the world that went through a nearly one-to-one experience as him, feeling the same emotions, too agonizing to bear alone. He didn't understand Sasuke, his pain, his loneliness, so he tried to brute force his way to save him and ended up losing. He went back on his ninja way, therefore is the reason why he lost. Loneliness is filled up by others, but that can only be filled up if you can understand one another. This arc helped establish the foundation of Naruto's character, his worldview, and what he has to achieve moving forward. Anyways, this start to the series stands above most other shonen beginnings. I find the antagonist to be very compelling, Naruto's challenges to overcome in this arc and in the future captivating, and the overall setup for the rest of the series done fantastically with honestly little if no flaws that I might have missed or not pointed out, I guess. As you can tell, I like the antagonist a lot and the purpose they served for the series, but besides the point, this arc is very nice. It's aged well and I think other series could genuinely take notes from it. It's not the most complex thing in the world, but that's not its job. It's simple, effective, and perfectly executed, laying the foundation for the series. I didn't even talk about the fights like that and how cool they were to watch when I'm like just shy of 20 episodes in. It's a gripping opener that not even the likes of my glorious Rubber King did in his first 20 episodes. If I didn't do justice in describing how cool cool and good this beginning of an arc was, my fault. Tell me in the comments below what I narrowly or clearly missed touching upon. Maybe I'm just arse at describing things. Regardless, I've always thought this arc was sick, and will continue to do so probably. Aside from all that, Blue Lock's under 20 arc video drops after season 2 airs its last episode. I want to see if the big moment in anime format is worth mentioning in that video. I'll catch you all then. Have a blessed day.